What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Draft and Stash, your one-stop shop for NBA news, but more importantly, that Memphis Grizzlies news, especially on Mondays. Joining me, as always, is Frank.
What up, what up, what up, what up?
And I am Andrew. On today's show, we're going to get into some Summer League stuff, breaking down a few teams. The reigning champion Grizzlies are ready to strike. We're gonna get into a little bit about the Utah League that was, but before we can do that, let's get that intro.
Morant with a running start. Oh my goodness!
Before we get into the Memphis Grizzlies in all their glory, we're going to touch on a few other Summer League players and teams that we think have been playing pretty well and looked so far up to snuff. What is your first team there, Frank, or player?
Shout out to the Magic, man. Coming in, looking good. We got Jalen Suggs hitting open shots. People are hyped. But, I mean, I really like what the Magic did in the draft this year. Having Suggs fall to them at 5 was just, I really think, Chris Vernon keeps saying this on Twitter. He's a big Suggs guy, that there's no way all 4 of the guys that went before him are going to be better than Suggs in the long run. And
Yeah.
I agree with that. What do you think about that, actually?
I mean, Suggs was my number 2. So, I had Jalen Green and then Suggs, and I know that people will be like, "What? There's no way you have Cade Cunningham, third?" And it's like, no, actually, I had Cade 4th, but but that's not that. Like, I don't think that Cade will be awesome. I just looked at skill level and athleticism and success and things like that. And I thought that Suggs had a little bit more, even though Cade could be totally awesome. But so I was not shocked at all that Suggs came out and hit like 29, like his first game there or whatever. Like he's awesome,
confident, man. He's just moving like a pro already.
Yeah,
like
I watched him in college a bunch, and I was like, man, like him and Ja would be so damn good together. So I'm sure Orlando's super excited that the guy they got at 5 is not going to be like a long-term type of prospect like a Scotty Barnes that shows a lot of hype, but there's a lot of work to be done. With Suggs, he shows a lot of hype, but he's already put together a lot of that work. So his first year is not going to be as up and down, I don't think. I've always thought that he was the most ready to go, could be star of those top 4 or 5 guys. So I really think his first year in Orlando is going to be really good. If he ends, I don't know if he'll end up being one of the best guys in terms of like top 5 overall, but I definitely think 5 years from now, you'll be saying like, wow, this is a really good draft. Jalen Suggs went 5, and he's like, like a quasi all-star guy or whatever. But yeah, I mean, besides Orlando, I would say Houston, we really like them at the draft.
Oh, they killed it in the draft, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I love Green and Josh Christopher, and then they got Usman Garuba and Alfred Sengun, and in their first game, you just see flashes of it. You see like Alfred in the paint. I think I'm saying his name wrong. Alperen. And
Alperen Sengun, yeah.
Yeah, and he's just like, he's playing almost like a Jonas Valanciunas style bully ball inside. I don't know the limit of where that'll take him, because Jonas is already showing flashes now at 28 and 29 that his game's pretty antiquated. But, his athleticism right now is good enough, but he's already slow of foot. He looks like more of a center, but he's only like 6'9", maybe 6'10" on like certain shoes. But so I don't know if his size will allow him to play that position, but he's so good in the damn paint, and he's already strong at like 19. And he had like 15 boards in his first game. So, I mean, like, he'll definitely be around for a while. Josh Christopher showed flashes of actual good defense, which I think people were questioning coming out of college. And his shot making was also there. Unfortunately, he's being forced to play point guard, which he's not a lead guard guy. He's more of like a sporadic pass to the corner, he makes a move type of guy. So once he has a point guard with him on the court, I think he'll be good. And then Jalen Green just looked exactly as good as we thought. He coming out there, he's faster than everybody, he's jumping higher than everybody. He's already making fifth year moves on people, whatever. Him playing the G League
from the 3-point line.
Him playing in the G League already showed that he really picked up a lot from Jarrett Jack and stuff. He's got certain moves in his bag already. So just look like a stud out there. And Houston could be really dangerous in about 2 or 3 years.
Couple shout outs here. Jalen Johnson's looking good for the Hawks. Shout out to Cooper.
Really
kind of a dud in his first game, but got a 29-point game here and a game winner here for the Hawks today. So
Chris Duarte takes another L.
Solid. Also LiAngelo Ball, who got a full body tattoo overnight.
He
didn't look too bad. I think I was talking with my buddy about it. I think the floor for LiAngelo at this point is out of the league, but the no, realistically, I think
the floor is him cleaning the floor. Actually,
honestly, dude, his shot was much better than I thought. He has the size to hang with wings in the NBA. I think if he can,
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But I do think he looked the part in the summer league, which that doesn't really mean anything.
And see if he played in the G League in the G League last year, because I don't think he did. I know that he got a camp invite
last year, just training.
Yeah, he got invited, I think, from the Pistons, a training camp invite, and that's when LeVar Ball was sitting there saying that all of his sons are in the NBA and and then got cut a week later or something. But he needs to prove on a smaller level that he's willing to put in the work, willing to actually go in there and be like a glue guy. Anybody can score in the damn summer league. Josh Selby at one point looked like Allen Iverson. So I take all that with a grain of salt. Kyle Kuzma at one point looked like a future MVP playing off of just summer league games or whatever and stuff. And now every Laker fan hates him. So this doesn't really mean a lot to me. But both of his brothers are really good. So obviously there's something there in his blood. He should be better. He's kind of been on this weird spiral ever since college, got messed up from him in China and stuff or whatever. But I don't know. What'd you find?
He actually did. He never really played in the G League. He signed with the Oklahoma City Blue in 2019, and
COVID.
That team played one game in which he did not appear before the league was shut down for COVID.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he never really played in the G League there.
Quick shout out to Davion Mitchell, who showed exactly why he was going to go top 10, and that he looks like another lockdown guard. He
clamps, man. Yeah,
he clamps. Yeah, he shut down James Bouknight.
Yeah. That one play where he shut him down so bad.
He made Bouknight look like a second round pick. It was nice.
He dribbled it off his foot out of bounds. Man.
Yeah, it was really good. But let's move on to the Memphis Grizzlies. Summer League, we already started off in Salt Lake City. I think there was 4 teams. Utah had a white team and a blue team, and then the Spurs were there, and then the Grizzlies were there. Unfortunately, because of weird trade garbage in the NBA, Zaire and Santi Aldama were not even allowed to practice with the team until the trade was consummated on the 6th, but then it got pushed back to the 7th because they added a third team in there or something. So they only got one practice going into the Vegas thing together. But a few guys looked pretty damn good in the Salt Lake series, one of which earned a job, and that is Yves Pons. He played at Tennessee. He's a 6'6", huge arms, super athlete, can jump over the moon. Great. He was the defensive player in the SEC last year. His shot never really got going, but he looks like a guy that can guard the 2, the 3, the 4, probably the point as well. He ends up signing with the Grizzlies on a G League style deal. I don't know if it's a 2-way. It might be the E10, which I think that he's guaranteed 10 games or something. There's so many weird deals that they do, whatever. But that's really exciting, which I think is earned. Guys like him who have his type of athleticism and could be skill, you do hope to find those guys. And I was telling Chip that he could end up, if he gets his shot going a little bit, he could be a version of Royce O'Neal. like a nice long armed, multifaceted, big like a 3-and-D guy or something. What do you think of Mr. Pons?
I like the signing, man. Like you said, a freak athlete, just jumps out of the gym. Honestly, I think we talked about it a little bit during our draft coverage with Chip, but he kind of reminds of like a DJ Steffens type that just extreme length, extreme leaping ability, just has the ability to affect the game on like a vertical level, literally. So
yeah,
I like it, man. He had a couple nasty alley-oop finishes.
He had that block in I think in like game 1 or game 2 where he was running backwards. He jumped and he actually hit his head on the damn backboard behind him. Like he jumped that high. It was absolutely insane. So he's going to be a lot of fun. I think if he puts in the work, he could easily find a spot, man. But moving on from
kind
him,
of athleticism and defense, yeah.
It was very evident early on in the first game in Utah that Desmond Bane and Xavier Tillman do not need to be there. They were absolutely kicking the hell out of everybody, and that trend continued into Vegas. Game 1, Desmond Bane ends up with 31 points. I think he hit 6 of 8 from downtown, and he got to anywhere on the court that he wanted to. He was absolutely just killing people, making them look dumb. It looks like his handle has really gotten a lot cleaner, which is really cool. And then his on-ball passing has really picked up as well. Most people might not know, but in his 4th year at TCU, Desmond was actually the lead guard at times, and so playmaking was becoming one of his new features. And so they're letting him really explore that here in the summer league. Hopefully he gets a couple more games with Zaire, because that could be your future duo in 2 years or something. What are your first thoughts on how good Bane has looked?
Man, cue the Dark Knight Rises sound clip here, man.
I was born from the Ark.
Dude is just going off in the summer league.
Yeah.
I mean, the shooting's on fire. He's, like you said, the playmaking showing signs of improvement. That little drive to the rim that he started to develop halfway through the season last year is looking really confident now.
Yeah.
I love it, man. I love what we're seeing out of him. I think he's starting sooner rather than later. And I think
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say just another guy, second-year player guy, came in last year, made an impact right away, and just looks like he has no business being in the summer league, is Xavier Tillman. Looking awesome, man. He's shooting excellent from the floor. I mean, just highly efficient. Chucking up a couple questionable threes here every once in a while, but it's summer league.
Yeah.
But what's really impressive to me, man, is he's really stacking up the counting stats. Obviously, he gets the rebounds.
Yeah.
Gets offensive rebounds, but he's been getting a lot of assists during the summer league and showing signs of being an improved playmaker himself out of the post. And I think that bodes really well, man. I think that means that we can play him with Jaren far more often. He can play with Steven Adams, because if you can get him operating in that post where he's going to have the repertoire of moves, that little turnaround we saw a couple times in the summer league so far.
I'd say, his floater, it is very good.
The floater too, man.
Yeah, that's one.
Add another guy to the list.
Yeah. I think Chip had said it in college, his passing in the pick and roll was one of the highest percentages for a guy of 6'8" or high or a taller or whatever.
His decision making is excellent.
Yeah, and so in the first game he had almost a triple double and stuff. He had 7 assists, which I think led the team. He's just. It's that was impressive, and him getting the main rebound and then turn around on the break himself. I think I think that he fully understands the way that the league is heading, and he's making himself multifaceted. I mean, nobody can just do rebounds now or only shoot or this. You have to be able to dribble, pass, shoot. It has to be everything now.
I think he's proving to be a far more versatile player than personally I would have given him credit for coming into his rookie season. He's really showing signs of development. So
it's really weird. So when they drafted, which I think also needs to be brought up again, that Kleiman went into that draft with just the 40th pick, ended up getting Tillman and Desmond Bane. So
regular rotation players,
right? Yeah,
in the first season.
And that night I went and looked at their, college tape, and I was like, man, if both these guys are this, it's going to be great. And that's exactly who they are still. It's they didn't come in and I need time to get to that level. They came in and immediately knew who they were, what to do and stuff. And I think you get that more often than not because they're both like 4-year players, so like, they've already grown into like understanding how to work and stuff and everything. What was your first impressions of Zaire Williams?
The rookie, man, he's long, he's tall, he's fast. He seems to be active on the court, man. I know people aren't really happy with the in-box score result, but the guy only took 7 shots. Desmond Bane, Xavier Tillman, Killian Tilly, and John Contra were too busy out there just making a joke of the other team. So, I like what I saw out of him. After one practice, he seemed to he didn't seem like he didn't belong in the court, first off, which is the first thing you look for in the summer league.
Yeah.
He belonged on the court. He wasn't in the way at any point. And then he made a couple plays where that really stood out to me. Obviously his first bucket where he got the steal and then the fast break. That steal was really impressive to me, man, because it was a bad pass. Granted, it was from the corner to the wing,
but he read it well. Yeah,
you don't make that pass, but he was out of position. If you watch the clip, he's way under the basket, and he's not even looking at the play at first. He turns his head, sees the pass at the last second, and then has the reaction time and the speed to jump out there into the lane and go off for an easy bucket. And I'm like, man, this guy's got the IQ, he's got the reaction time, he's got the physical ability. Really, all we need to see this guy do is just get reps and develop. I think the offensive game is the big question mark right now. But with the floor he's got of this just like rangy, athletic, quick, seemingly really high IQ type guy, like I think that's just going to come, man. Like,
I mean, it's annoying because there are certain Grizz fans who don't really pay attention except for maybe 4 or 5 times a year. They'll look up and see, oh man, like Trey Murphy had 26. Oh man, Moses Moody, did this. Like, there's a reason they took Zaire, and that is he's 19, he's 6'10". He has on ball skill, off ball skill, defense, rebounding. He currently, numbers wise, looks like a person who could fill like 5 or 6 types of categories for you, which Moses and Trey Murphy could not do. And will he get there? I don't know, but
it's a question mark. Yeah.
But the fact is that Moses Moody's probably Courtney Lee, and that's fine. And he'll be in the league for probably 10 years or so. But Courtney Lee doesn't get this team to a championship. Zaire currently could be Brandon Ingram. I mean, and it took Brandon Ingram about 3 years to get to where he is now.
I remember the bus talks about Brandon.
Yeah, and everybody really, really crapped on him early because, saying that his body's not going to fill out. But he figured out that he doesn't need to have a huge body. He basically learned to use what works for him and got to an all-star level. I think Zaire, if he could get to Brandon Ingram light, where he's like 80% of that, that's more than what Moses Moody's going to give you, and that's more than what like Trey Murphy's going to give you. And you have to take that swing. So his first year, I wouldn't expect anything. Like a year 2 is when like Kobe Bryant had averaged like 6 points a game in his first year, man. And then he was an all-star somehow his second year, averaging 15 points a game. Like the fans who were hating on Zaire would have hated Kobe, would have hated Dirk, would have hated Giannis, so just calm down. At some point, he'll get there. And after 3 years, if he's looking, bad still, then, start like attacking and stuff. Right now, he has a lot of like intangibles. He can easily score 20 in his next game, Hey,
don't say 3 years, man. That's giving them some ideas about Jaren.
Yeah, I know, right? Jesus, yeah. But moving on from one rookie to another, Santi Aldama also debuted, and he looked a little bit more lost than Zaire did. He obviously needs to get a little bit more strength. I think he's about 220. He's going to need to get to about 235 or 240. But he showed flashes of why they took him, which is he cuts really well. His slip screen action is good. You could tell he was a little antsy out there, and he was like overthinking. He was, in the lane, counting in his head to 3, like and hopping back out and stuff and hopping back, like he was trying to do too much, super nervous. I think as it goes on, he'll start to fit back into like his mold. But we also won't know a whole bunch about him. I expect him to be probably with the hustle here and there and stuff and everything. And then, of course, Conchar looked awesome.
I love Conchar, man. I
Yeah,
swear watching him play just gives
He
me
had
life.
14 rebounds in the first.
There was one play at the end of the game there where when the Nets went ahead by a point, I think, late in the fourth quarter, and then John Conchar literally takes the ball out of the basket and
coast to coast.
Yeah, coast to coast for an easy layup, man. I'm just like, I love this guy.
And what was so funny was that I texted Chip and I was like, I would be shocked if this current team lineup scores for the Grizzlies, and they went 4 minutes and did not score, and then in the last 4 seconds puts in Conchar goes coast to coast and scores. I was like, it just like, hopefully they work some different lineups in, because that bench unit just did not work together at all. But Conchar, I hated it because I think he belongs in this league. Anytime he's out there, he just does things, man. Like, he's not really great at anything, but he's solid at all the stuff that you need a guy like him to be solid at. Like, he's a really good offensive rebounder. Like, he somehow gets in the lanes, pops it out. He's always on the floor, Yeah. He can cut pretty well. His passing's pretty smart, He's
a reliable shooter.
Yeah, he's like a really good, like 10th or like 11th, man guy. It's just unfortunate that he's behind like other players and stuff. So let's get into from this roster of the Summer League and how the entire roster will shape up moving forward. Because at this current moment, I think Eric Bledsoe is going to be on the team. So then it's like, what do you do with Tyus? Because now it's John Morant, Tyus Jones, Eric Bledsoe, and then your scoring guards are Desmond Bane, DeAnthony Melton, John Conchar, and then you got Dylan Brooks, Zaire Williams, Kyle Anderson, Brandon Clark, Jaren Jackson Jr., Killian Tilly, who we didn't even talk about, who hit like 5 threes or whatever in that game and looked, solid. Xavier Tillman, Steven Adams, and then and now like Aldama. It's just like, you don't have enough spots, man. It's like our team, it's almost the same as it was last year, where everybody's a little bit better than average and you cannot give everybody minutes, So hopefully this training camp will help Taylor Jenkins figure out what works and what doesn't work and stuff, Who would you like to be starting come opening night?
If I was to choose, we'd have Ja, Desmond, Dylan, Jaren, and Steven Adams starting.
Okay. I think that's the consummate pick now. Some people are throwing out maybe Tillman starts.
Again, I've heard DB sliding up to the 2 and then Kyle playing the 3, but I don't really like that. Yeah, I
don't like that either. I think, Bane gives too much in terms of like scoring.
He does.
Last year we didn't really have any like real consistent shooting, and I think adding Desmond Bane, if you can give him 25 minutes a game, he can probably get up like 6 threes a game.
Dude, honestly, I think that's why, shout out to Grayson Allen in the trade, why Taylor was so enamored with Grayson Allen starting is he would just he sucked, but he would at least hit 3 threes in the first.
Yeah, if Grayson would shoot threes, he was the anti-Courtney Lee. He would just come down and fire up threes, man. Dude,
I think you can book it. Desmond Bane, if he starts this year, is going to break Mike Miller's record. I think you can book that.
Yeah, so what he hit, a little over 100 last year, I think. It was close. I think he averaged a little over 2 a game or something, right?
A little over 2 a game. I think he attempted 4 or 5.
4.5. If he starts, I think he averages 6 threes a game at least, and he probably hits around 3.
Yeah.
And if he plays and he plays 70 games, he should hit 210 or so threes.
Yeah, I think he breaks the record easy. Honestly.
I do too. And then I think he goes on to become the greatest shooter in Grizzlies history.
Man, honestly, how insane would it be if Jaren has a healthy bounce back year?
Oh my God, yeah.
And they both break Mike Miller's record in the same
season. That'd be crazy. If both of them hit 200 threes each or whatever.
Dude, it's conceivable. I could actually see that happening.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I want Melton to play, and then it's okay, and then I want Kyle Anderson to play because he's good, and then it's okay, I want Brandon Clark to.
I do want to speak on the point guard situation. I think Eric Bledsoe still being on the roster, I don't think that means necessarily that we're going to try to work him into the rotation or anything. I've been saying since this trade happened, if he's on the roster by the time the season starts, I think it's not going to be a Iguodala situation where
I hope not.
contentious about it. But I think it's going to be a situation where the organization and him kind of come to a mutual agreement that, hey, we know you don't want to be here. You know, we don't want you risking injury. I don't know, whatever. But I don't think he's going to play. I think Tyus has proven to be one of the better backups in the league, and to relegate him just for Eric Bledsoe to get minutes to increase his trade value, I don't see that happening. Now, I could see them maybe doing a 3-point guard rotation where Tyus is the main relief, but sometimes you throw a different look with Eric Bledsoe coming into the game. But I think honestly, if I was to bet, I don't think Bledsoe's going to play a game in a Grizz jersey. We've got too much depth at guard, man. We traded Grayson specifically to address that.
You say that, but there were reports that he was working out with Jaren Jackson Jr.
Oh, wow, really? Okay, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, and then, man, I could have sworn, dude, that I saw him.
Maybe I have the wrong read. Maybe he's excited to be here, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, okay, so like Jaren Jackson was working out in LA. That's where his trainers are. And so that's where he was. But Eric Bledsoe was also in that same group. But then in Summer League, man, I'm trying to find the picture here. If you can find on Twitter maybe the picture of Ja Morant sitting sideline for the game the other day, I think he's sitting next to Eric Bledsoe. Like,
I don't think that was Eric Bledsoe. I
Are
think
you
that was one
sure?
of his friends. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's not Eric Bledsoe. Eric Bledsoe wasn't there. Eric Bledsoe's not watching a friggin' Grizzlies Nets Summer League game. Are you kidding me, bro?
I thought, are you sure? On his left?
Yeah. No, the guy, I can see what you're saying. The guy kind of looks like him, but it's not
He
him.
does, man. He's got a mask on and a hat. It's hard to tell, but he looks tatted up and he's got like a chain on and shit and stuff. And he looks big, man. I don't know. I don't know.
It's just it's not Bledsoe.
Okay.
It's not his face.
Fair enough. Okay. So I don't know. So I mean, to me, it's like the better Ja Morant gets, the less you need Tyus Jones, because like I fully expect Ja to play like 36 minutes this year, and it's like how much work is Tyus going to do in 12 minutes, right? But I think Eric Bledsoe could come in as like a knuckleball changeup, where it's like a heavy, strong, experienced, like defensive guard. And I think you could pair him with like D'Anthony Melton, Kyle Anderson, Brandon Clark, and Tillman, and have like a murder squad where it's just like all fucking defense or something or whatever. I just don't think, it's just like Tyus he's like a really safe, dependable backup point guard that I think was necessary in Ja's first 2 years. I just don't know if you need him going forward. But, I mean, like, they'll figure it out, man. It's crazy. All right, guys. So hopefully the next time you see us, the Grizzlies will be repeat champions of the Summer League. But we
leave it at champions, man. Just leave it at champions.
Yeah, right. Roll down some banners. It's going to be great. As free agency begins to take more shape, at some point we will give you our preseason picks for teams and stuff. Well, we might also do a whole video on who we feel free agency wise won and whose rosters are shaping up really great. But we will get into a whole bunch of preseason takes on like guys that we think will be MVPs and possible all-stars, and there's just so much content, but only one episode a week. It's hard, man. So Frank, anything last to say?
Just some final thoughts here, man. Happy birthday to Ja Morant. 22.
And you, man. Yeah.
Hey, man. Thank you.
You and Ja are basically the same guy, man. Frank Morant over here. Yeah.
We're linked by the soul. Yeah. No, man. Shout out to Ja. 22 years young.
22.
Gonna lead us to the promised land. We have the most exciting young core in the NBA. That's not the Grizzlies fan of me speaking. That's facts.
Yeah, I think he makes his first All-Star team next year. This is like a preseason take, and I think he averages 22 and 8.
Ooh,
yeah,
right. You think he gets an All-Star bid if that's the case?
Well, I think the Grizzlies will be like in the playoff hunt at the time.
So you don't think he'll get it, but those are all-star numbers, baby.
Yeah,
like 22 and 8. That's big time.
I think he'll average 22 and 8. shoot around 32% all year as opposed to like just like at the end.
I
From
think it's going to jump
three.
up to 34, 35. I think he's going to be.
I hope so.
respectable
I really hope so. If he does that, then I'm gonna say 25 a game.
Because
If
dude, he looked on the court. He looked disheartened with his shooting last year because he's smart. He knows if he's not shooting well, that teams can take away some of the other things that he does well. So to really open up his game, shooting's got to be there for him. And I know he's working on it this offseason. I want to see how he does next year.
So I fully think that he'll get a spot either from a person being injured or he's just too good to like not have on there or whatever. But that's my preseason Grizzlies declaration. All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Until next week.
Let's go, Grizzlies!